Have you ever wondered why you can't seem to make positive changes in your life? No matter how many tactics and tools you try, you stay stuck in the same unproductive place. I mean, you're not alone. Change is really hard. But what if I told you it's not the change that's hard, but that there's something else holding you back? There's a hidden obstacle that's blocking your path to successfully making the changes that you want to see. In this video, I'm going to uncover that obstacle and I'm going to show you a proven method to make the changes that you desire. It sounds lofty, but stick with me because with these 3 steps, which have proven successful for every one of my clients who have wanted to change and something that I use in my own life, there's no way you won't become one of the success stories. Hey, I'm Dr. Lori Sulpizio. I'm a leadership and I'm a mindset coach who gives you concrete ways to make the most of your life and achieve your highest potential. So how many times have you tried to lose weight? How many New Year's resolutions have been about getting healthy, which works for the first few weeks of January and then totally busts by the time February comes around? You've tried to change your sleep, getting to bed earlier, getting up earlier. You've tried to start doing yoga, stop drinking so much wine, quit a bad habit, and it's just fail, fail, fail. And you're thinking, I just can't change, people are who they are. Wrong. You can change, and it's not that you're doing it wrong, you're just not paying attention to the one thing that's actually getting in your way. So check out these stats from Dr. Lisa Lahey's research at Harvard. She studied people with heart issues who are told by their doctors that they are seriously at risk of dying if they do not change their habits, their diet, their lifestyle, their exercise. Yet even when people's very lives are on the line, only 1 out of every 7 patients is able to make the change. Another statistic shows that 2 years after heart surgery, only 10% of the people had changed their lifestyles. This is life or death, and people still don't change. There's something sneaky and hidden getting in the way, and it's loss. It's not the change that derails us. It's the loss that causes grief and sadness from the change. I mean, think about this. You just moved in with your significant other. It's a great relationship, and you're excited to cohabitate. But a few months in, you realize you miss your independence. You don't see your friends as often, and when you used to leave your clothes on the ground, dishes on the counter, now you can't. This puts stress on the relationship, and you think that maybe moving in together wasn't the best idea. But it's not the moving in together, it's the problem. It's the losses that you feel. The loss of feeling like you can do what you want when you want it. The loss of being able to see your friends with more freedom. The loss of leaving the house messy just because. So if you can tend to those losses, the strength of the relationship stays positive and living together remains a good thing in your life. Think of the heart disease patients from the research. Starting an exercise plan might mean the loss of sitting on the couch on Sunday, watching football games and having a beer. Eating healthy means the loss of delicious foods that you used to enjoy, with happy hour with your friends where chips, guacamole, and margaritas are aplenty. So in order to make a change successful, we have to see what you stand to lose. So here's the steps for you to do just that. Step 1, identify the change and the loss. Once you've decided what you want to change, you have to identify what you stand to lose. Every change leaves something behind. That's the definition of change. Just the acknowledgement of what you're leaving behind and what you're losing can help you be prepared and aware once the difficulty from those losses start to show up. But the real step is that once you identify the losses, you can figure out how to tend to those losses within the change you're trying to make. So if you're trying to eat healthy, but you don't want to lose that time with your friends every Friday when you go out after work, the question is, how can you keep the social gathering Fridays after work without having to be in a space where you eat unhealthy? You could ask your friends to go to a different location, maybe one that has healthy food options. You could switch what you order, getting a lower calorie meal or a drink with less sugar. This way, you still get to eat healthy and you get to have your social time with your friends. Think about moving to a new town, away from your family and the community that you've had for years. And so you're excited for the new job and owning a home, but the loss of friends and family is a big one. So in order to have this move be a successful change, you've got to figure out how you can keep that connection with your friends and family. Maybe it's frequent Zoom meetings. Maybe you schedule out visits for the next 6 months so you have something to look forward to, that connection to the life that you just had. That way, the move, the new job, the new home can be exciting and you know you get to keep what was so important to you. This step is all about identifying the loss that comes with the new behavior and figuring out creative ways to meet the need for what you're losing. Step 2, I'm calling these competing commitments. This is a concept that comes from Lisa Lahey's research in a book that she wrote called Immunity to Change. So this talks about how something in your current behavior is competing with the new behavior. So the things that you stand to lose are serving you in some way, and that's competing with the new change you want to make. So I was working with a client, let's call her Susan. And Susan really wanted to start getting up early and have a better morning routine. She wanted to get up and either do yoga, journal, make her coffee, and read. But she found out that once the alarm went off in the morning, she was so tired that no matter how hard she tried, Susan would snooze her alarm and not get up. So we started to explore what was happening before she even went to bed. And she shared in one of our coaching sessions how she would stay up binge watching Game of Thrones because everybody in her office was talking about Game of Thrones and she wanted to be part of that conversation. As we dug into this, we discovered that being included and being part of the group was really important to her. And this stemmed all the way back into her high school and college days when she felt like she really didn't have a great friend group. So her commitment to having a friend group and feeling included in the community with her colleagues was competing with her need to get up early and do yoga, journal, and start that morning routine. So the loss of being included with her colleagues was too much for her to bear. So she wasn't willing to risk that loss. So she stayed up late, watched a show, snoozed her alarm. There goes her morning routine. Competing commitments can be sneaky and hidden. For example, you may really want to start speaking up in meetings and you know that it's important for your career growth, but you can't seem to find your voice. And when you do, it feels like it's passive and it lacks impact. Well, there could be something serving you about staying silent and quiet. For example, you might be committed to appearing nice and not causing conflict during meetings. You might be committed to keeping the peace and not offending people. So as a result, you stay silent, you offer passive comments, you don't speak in a direct way, sharing your opinion like you would want to. Maybe you want to start saying no and be able to focus on the few projects that are more important to you and not take on everything that people ask you, but you can't seem to say no. When we break this down, there's something that's serving you by saying yes. Maybe you're committed to not letting people down. Maybe you're committed to showing that you're a team player. Maybe you're committed to taking on opportunities because you think that's the way to your growth. So because you're committed to doing those things, you're not going to say no. They're competing with your ability to have those boundaries and focus on what you actually want to focus on. So the key in this step is for you to figure out why what you're doing now is serving you and competing with the change you want to make. And I've got a worksheet that will help you walk through this, and the link is in the description. And if you feel like you need some specific help with a particular change, there's a link in the description for you to schedule a one-on-one session with me. This is complex, but it's easier to break down than you think. Okay, it's time to move on to the final step. So you know what change you're going to make. You know what losses you're going to face, and you've identified your competing commitments. So now it's time to plan out some action steps. So here we want to find the behaviors that's going to make that change consistent. The third step is to start small. Baby steps, my friends, baby steps. When we try to do things that are too big, we're destined to fail simply because we can't change so much so fast. Small changes give us quick wins, and it tells us that we're actually getting the results we want, even if they're little results. Small changes are also more likely to become habits, and habits become consistent patterns. Small change is more realistic. It's more likely that you're going to cut down on one glass of wine instead of cutting out wine altogether. Small changes, when done consistently, compound to big changes. It's a myth that we need to make this massive change right away. In fact, it's better to make small, realistic, incremental changes consistently because those changes become permanent and eventually they get us to the big changes that we want to see. This does work. And it doesn't only have to be applied to big things and lifestyle changes like losing weight or eating healthy. You can apply this to small changes that you want to make your daily life better. So for example, I was noticing that during my work from home days, I was frequently taking a break from work, going to the pantry, getting potato chips and peanut butter. I'm never hungry when I'm doing this, so this isn't serving me in that way. What I am is stuck or irritated with my work, and I automatically get up, leave my office, and since I work from home, I get up and go right to the pantry. This provides a nice break from what I'm trying to get my mind away from. The problem is, the way that I'm taking this break is an unhealthy habit. So what I realize is that I still want to get up and take a break. I feel stuck, I feel irritated, I need to get up, stand up, move my body, so instead of moving my body to the pantry, I can move my body taking my dog outside and throw the ball for him for 5 minutes. He loves it. I get outside in the sunshine. Even though I'm focusing on my dog, my mind is still working through some of the issues that I abandoned at the computer on my desk, and I come back to my office ready to get back at it without the extra 400 calories that I did not need. So you can see how I applied the steps here. Recognize the change and the loss. I wanted to stop going to the pantry, change that habit, stop grabbing the potato chips and peanut butter throughout the day when I feel stuck. But I didn't want to lose that mental break that was giving me. I wanted some distance from my work. So I had to recognize how that bad habit or behavior was serving me. So for me, the pantry and the chips and the peanut butter were giving me a mental break from my work. It got me up and out of the office. But I needed an alternative that would still give me the same thing. And of course there was a different way to get what I needed. I didn't need the chips, I needed the break. So by going outside with my dog for 5 minutes, not only do I not do the bad habit, but I've replaced it with the good habit. My dog is stoked to get outside, I get to be in the sunshine, refill my mental and emotional cup that way. So now you know how to realistically and successfully make some changes in your life. So give it a try. Reach out if you need help and look in the description for more videos that you can watch. They're going to help you be better. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video if it was helpful, and even share it with somebody that you think needs a concrete way to make positive change. I appreciate your time. I know it's so valuable. Thanks for being with me. I'll see you in the next video.